This APPS learning contract was created based on practices that support differentiating the needs of gifted learners based on research and the belief that all students should be appropriately challenged. There are programs, activities, and numerous ways to differentiate instruction for the SPED, ESOL, and 504 students, but the gifted, talented, or GATE, or APPS student is all too often asked to help other students or create something on their own, or they're just given more work at the high school level. Yes, they're told to sign up for advanced placement classes, but those AP classes are not always available. And let's just face it, with no gatekeeping, the rigor in some is inept. This year, while preparing for my accommodations by going over the labeling in Aspen and looking at IEPs, I realized that I had 3 gifted students. As I opened the attachment, I found that those 3 students were still labeled as having an active plan, yet there was no plan that I could find anywhere. Notice the support services. This summary information is not the entire gifted education plan. Services for elementary, for middle, for high school. High school, you'll notice these ends, and those mean no services available. Well, I decided that I wanted to know more about the Advanced Academic Programs and Services, APPS, for DVS, for remote learning, as well as brick and mortar school settings, and I'd like to improve differentiation and academic diversity when teaching APPS high school students. Well, research began about the advanced academic programs and services available for gifted students, and a portfolio was created that provides exploratory enrichment activities and creative critical thinking lessons that would benefit my students. I would like to see this program extend beyond the K to 5 range, and I'd like to have that diversity moved up for my students in 6th to 12th grade range so that they could continue to receive the appropriate differentiated services. Well, included are ways to differentiate content, process, and product, tools for recognizing gifted learners, practices that support differentiating the needs of gifted learners based on research, and the belief that all students should be appropriately challenged. Well, let's move to the research. You'll notice in the research that there are several common themes here. And this runs throughout all of the research that I was finding, was that subsets of students are left out. Pretty much, assessments need to address the whole person, not just the intellectual testing that's done. And today's workforce is looking for problem solving and communication skills, not just successful test takers. Down here, why labeling students as gifted isn't working. Really good video. And in this video, we've got Ava Eshard, and she talks to you about the gifted program, gifted talented program, and how being labeled at an early age was not such a good idea. Further research, again, shows the taxonomy of effective curriculum for gifted learners, and you'll notice how it moves up to the grades 9 through 12. Cognitive rigor encompasses the complexity of content, the cognitive engagement with the content, and the depth and scope of planned learning activities. And you'll notice the Hess CRM publication, it's an assessment toolkit, is awesome. And it combines the Bloom's taxonomy. This is from 2001, so they're still using verbs, the cognitive processes, and nouns for knowledge. And they're incorporating it with Webb's DOK, or depth of knowledge there. And if you pull this up, it is a wonderful site. And you can see so many things are offered here. Matrix, curriculum examples of illustrating writing types. Wonderful as well for high school level. This 8 intelligences theory of multiple intelligence explained by Howard Gardner. Another great video here. And again, it explains the 8 intelligences here. Another good site is the DoDEA Gifted Program. This is really good. It covers everything from how to recognize the characteristics and description of a gifted individual, and it goes through a timeline of how to assess them. It offers so much information, and yes, it actually includes the high school in this gifted program guide here. And as you go down through, it's pretty extensive, but it also gives you in here procedural guidelines. You can see, as you skim down through, you see responsibilities of the teachers, timeline. You can see requests for permission for referral and assessment. They include everything in here. Your rating scales, more letters, checklist, and it goes all the way down to, I know it's going fast, but I'll leave this for you to open it up and skim through it, play with it as well. This does talk about, again, lesson plans down here for teachers and other assessments for teachers as well. Really good site here. So we go back to the interview. I found out that there were three for each region. One for each region, of resource teachers for the APPS program. And I asked each one for an interview, and I had one person respond to me, and I asked her about the APPS activities provided and why they were dwindling off, and here was her response here. And I also asked her for a list of activities that promoted critical thinking and extension activities and links, so that students could work on their own when they're at home or remote learning, and social emotional lessons for high school level. And here is her response there. And as you open this up, you will see there's the email there and her response. Assessments are another part of the research that I did, and you'll notice, like what Christina pointed out here, the type of input is based on student traits, aptitudes, and behavior, and emphasizes the inclusion of positive and negative traits and behaviors as well. And this is for the elementary, and it does carry over through the secondary level as well. So this first one's the COAC test that is really popular today, so you can pull this up and see that one. The next one is the matrix of commonly used assessments for gifted and talented. So this again is the COAC site. You can see what all is included in that test. The quick facts, your measures, and what they're actually testing them for and testing them on. And this one again, matrix. Love this. This is very extensive. They put together numerous tests of abilities and intelligences. So the list provided here, notice all of these. You see some important name brands there as well. And here. So again, I know I'm going quickly, but you can go back and pull these up as well and look at those as well. This one's just for fun. So if you pull it up, Brainable IQ, just for you for fun, to test yourself. But just remember that this is not the only thing that people would look at if they were testing you for the gifted program. So there's that. And you start your IQ quiz, and it gives you your IQ score at the end of it, at the end of the test. More assessments. And this again talks about the individual assessments and group assessments there. And you can see this entire document here. You can pull it up here from the National Association of Gifted Children. Very extensive here. Talks about the who, the when, and the why. Different types of testing there. So move forward, and this is the main reason I wanted to do this research. And if you look, there are thousands of ideas here. So you'll go through and click on each one of these. I included Scratch. Greg introduced that for us the other day. This one again, it says Pinterest, but if you pull these up, or Teachers Hey Teachers, click on. These are all hyperlinked in for you to look at. And then there's 2 sites down here as well. Nearpod is included that I showed you the other day. Here. So I'm going to leave this for you to explore because your interests are going to be different from my interests. And then we'll end with our websites that we used here for our research. Thank you. I really enjoyed my project, and I'm excited about exploring some of these activities that we were just looking at right here with my students. I've already picked out a couple of them. I'm getting ready to start with my 3 APPS students in my DVS class. So wish me luck. I think they'll enjoy it as well.